So one of the things that I need to do for my Camaro is I need to fix and repair the hood louvers. In my opinion, the most notable thing that you'll see about a third gen is the hood and the louvers. I feel that the hood louvers are probably one of the most noticeable things when you see that car. The car itself is very noticeable. But if you drive a third gen and you have a proper IROC hood on it with the louvers, it really says something. I was able to source a fairly decent pair that are in what I would consider okay shape for my car. The top side of them are in pretty good shape. There isn't too many issues with them. This is the passenger side. The top side's pretty good. There's a little hole down here. So I may end up putting some tape over top of this and running some 2-part epoxy into that and getting that all smoothed out. Driver's side one, no issues on the top side, and it's in pretty good shape. But where the problem is with these is on the bottom side. Now, these attach to the hood using basically little plastic standoffs with speed nuts. And I don't know if they thought maybe that far back these would last that long. But generally, these are some of the issues that you'll run into with these louvers. So you can see on this one, some of the stands are still there. Some of them are broken, you know, so they're all in various shapes. And this one is completely missing. Where on this one, they're all missing. There isn't, I mean, there's a little nub on this one, but for the most part, all of the standoffs are broken. And so I was wondering and thinking, okay, well, how am I going to make this work and what am I going to do? And so I started doing some arts and craft planning and thinking and going and figuring stuff out. And what I came to find out was that if you have a 7/8 hole saw like this one, the little plug that it makes fits exactly over top of one of these. So if I take this and I can put it inside, I can replace the top end of that. Then what I did from there is I sourced some of these. They were 1/4-20 T-bolts, but what I found was I was gonna have to do a lot of work on making that side smoother and making the width work, because if you look right now, it's too big and they don't fit in there properly. So what I did is I went on Amazon and I found this, and it's black screws. They got a round head and it's more flat, and those guys will fit right into those. So drill a 1/4-20 hole into our new little spacer. I can put that over top of the nut, and then it becomes a new standoff and it's metal. So that solves one problem for me being able to get some new standoffs. The next problem that I have to solve is that in every one of these, I got to take a Dremel and I got to clean down this little bit, this little piece sticking up here in these ones. But in ones where it's like this, I'm going to have to find a way to cut off the nibs and then clean down underneath that. And in ones like this, it'll be the same thing. So I have an oscillating tool, so I'll probably try that first to take the nib parts off, and then I'll just have to use a Dremel tool that I picked up some bits for to clean down in the bottom. And then what I'm hoping will eventually happen is I can take my black screw, stick it in there, stick this over top, and then this will sit flat on that, like there. And then I can just put a piece of rubber on the bottom of this as it goes through the hood and sits on the hood. Now, This is ABS plastic, 3 millimeters thick. This is ABS plastic, and what I found and heard is that if you get this methyl ethyl ketone, apparently if you can, apparently you brush it on one side and then around here, and it's basically like a super glue for ABS plastic. So, arts and crafts time to get these looking good and working properly. I don't know everything that's going to be involved with this. So what I'm probably going to do is work on making my little spacers first, because that's simple enough. I just take my 7/8 hole saw and I got my sheet of ABS there, punch some holes through it, and then I'll make all of these up. Now, the arbor size on this is not a 1/4 inch, it's much smaller. So I will end up with a smaller hole, but on my drill, I've got the I got a 1/4 drill bit, so I just enlarge that. So first task at hand, we'll be making all of my spacers and getting those prepped. Then the second thing at hand, which is gonna take the most amount of time, is cleaning up all this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna knock off all my spacers, and once I have those ready and prepped, then I'll bring you back and show you that. Okay, so after a few minutes of work, you can see my sheet's all cut out, and you can see I got my pile of donuts. This one I've already kind of cleaned up, so I cleaned up all the edges pretty good. And now if I stick this on here, you can see it just sits on top of there pretty good. Just like that. And that's how these will all work. You can see how they have all the plastic bits and remains on it. So basically what I'm doing now is I got my 1/4 inch drill bit. I just take one, then I just ever so slowly just drill through it. I do value my fingers, so if I just take this little wrench, I can just, so I just got my wrench, got my plug, stick that over the hole, drill through. I wish I had a drill press, because this would make this job a lot easier, but I don't, so. Take it off, and then, so we just take our plug, take our bolt, so we need our hole a little bit bigger. I'll grab some pliers and try it. Can't hold it with my hands. Pliers, the hole. Now that goes through. And so now basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all these, there's 16 of them in here, and I'm going to trim all the plastic bits, drill out all the holes so that this can fit inside there. And then those are the caps complete. And then after that, I then start on these and get these all cleaned up. So again, this can sit down in there far enough that when I put my cap over that, this will have some movement around in here and it'll jiggle a little bit, which will give it some leeway when I'm trying to attach it to the car. So I'm going to continue working on this. Once I have all those done and all the holes complete and cleaned up, then I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, well, it's a little bit of time after. Whole lot more mess. But you can see I now have 16 of these washers, which will perfectly fit over top of a 1/4 20 I'm gonna clean up my mess, get all the crap picked up, and then, like I said, we're gonna start on getting these all cleaned up so that this bolt can fit in there and have some leeway so that it shakes around just a little tiny bit, so that when I do put this on the car or on the hood, if I have to move it around, I can do that. So I'm gonna clean my mess. I think I go to my shop and grab my Dremel, but I got some bits for that. So I'm gonna get all that stuff lined up, and then we'll see how well this makes of a mess and how well I can do this without making any more holes in the louvers. All right, so as luck would have it, you can see I've got my Dremel out, my heat gun, and this stuff. And as you can see, this one is attached and it works pretty good. I haven't decided if I might run like some epoxy around the outside of this, or maybe get some shrink tube that will fit and shrink it down just to kind of give it a little bit more structure. But as it is, I can do this. And I don't see any real flexing or movement in there. I put that methyl in around on both sides of this, stuck it on there real good, threw some heat on it. Seems to be all right. So now that I know this work, and yes, these are way too long. They're probably gonna get, if you look at it from the side, it's probably gonna get cut probably in half. I probably didn't need to buy 1.5-inch ones, but 1.5-inch was kind of about the only ones that I could really find. So now I get to move forward and really start tackling the gross part about all this, and that's basically cleaning up every one of these little holes. This one has the actual hole in the center of it, so I'll probably get some tape and I'll probably 2-part epoxy that, fill that in. But yeah, it's basically going through all of these little holes and cleaning out any of the old silicone that might be in there, or making sure that, you know, all these can fit. The one thing I didn't notice about these that I have to do is it's got a bit of a flat, bump right there. And if I take one of my little plugs and feed it through, well, this one works all right. But what I found is that not all of them are like that. And what'll happen is that there's a little bit of a catch here. And when you put this on, it doesn't sit flat to the head and it has some wiggle room. So I just I got a pair of scissors here, and I just take it and stick it in a hole and just kind of spin it around a couple of times, and it bevels the inside of this, and then it fits flush. The other thing I'm doing is this ABS plastic is smooth on one side. It's got roughness on the other. So the roughness side is what I'm using to go and attach down to the bottom side to give it just a little bit more roughness to be able to catch and adhere there good. So so far, initial feedback seems like this is going to work as I need it to. So now I get the fun job of basically doing this 15 more times. This one, like I said before, is going to be the easier one because most of the standoffs are all busted off, except there's one here and one here. But this one here is going to be a lot more work because it has a lot more of them on it. So I'm just going to get cracking and get going and get these all cleaned up, get these all on here, and then we'll see how it is, and see how we'll attach the hood afterwards. So what may seem like a few mere moments for you has been about a week for me. I tried to fix this guy here, and you can see on this side that I got it pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's way better than what it was. I got these all filled down, so they're all good now. I've got all my little washers here. I'm going to use the smooth side, not the rough side. I've beveled this out with the scissors, sanded this down so they're smooth and not so shiny. The bolts, I just sanded these down so they're flat, so that if I put these on here like this, I basically made it so that if I put this on here like this, like that, I got this, there's some wiggle room in this, so it can kind of move back and forth. So those have all been smoothed down flat. Those have been all smoothed down flat and beveled. So now it's just a matter of taking this and attaching them to each one of these little spots, and that's not hard. This stuff, it doesn't really smell too bad, so it's not too bad, but I still do wear gloves, so you know, it does say it's poisonous, so do put some gloves on. And then what I found is Q-tips work the best. It allows you to basically pick the fluid up right from the top of the can up in here, and then you just coat your little ring, coat the little circle edge around here, stick it on, hold it for a few seconds, and then what I do is I just hit it with some heat to really get it to dry a little bit faster, and then it cooks out real fast. So we're just going to move my stuff here, and I will do one, show you guys what it's like. Just get you lined up there. Okay, my gloves on. Got one bolt, one washer. So just dip that in, can't really tell, but it's wet. So just run it around the outside edge here. You can see it's black because it's melting, and then do the same thing around here. Get this all nice and coated. And once that's coated, just walk my bolt through, stick it on, hold it for a second, because it is melting the plastic, so you just kind of hold it. And what I do from there, I'll take a clean one, kind of rinse it off, and then I run it around the outside edge. And then basically does that, and it just kind of creates it as one. And then from there, take my heat gun and just apply a little bit of heat. She will be stuck. They're not going anywhere. So that's basically what I do to get these on, and as you can see, I got the other one there, so now I've got these two done, so that leaves me with 6 more to do. So I'm going to finish off these 6, and then I'll show you what it looks like back on the car, and that'd be pretty much done for the one side. Now I do have the other one that I need to work on, but I'll do that one another time and give me some time to focus. What I found for these, when they're broken off like this, or like this one here that's got this hole, the easiest way to take care of these, drill bits. So what I did is I would drill down into the hole first a little bit to get it going, and then one size bigger and continue all the way down to the flat. And then once it was down to the flat, then I could use my Dremel tool to flatten out the rest of it. So I am going to finish working on these other 6, get these all finished off, and once I have them all reattached, then I will show you guys what that looks like with that part finished before it goes back on the hood. All right, so I'm at my messy shop here, just trying to get some light to take some video out here. As promised, I wanted to show you what this is going to look like after they were all attached. So here's what it looks like. You can see that it sits in the hood. The one thing I don't know about these hoods is how high it sits compared to the hood. So if this up part of this louver part, it's actually sits higher than the hood. So if this is like, this is sloped up, it's higher than this slope. So I don't know if this is sitting up higher than what it would on a stock hood. There's kind of the front profile. So I don't know if it's higher than normal. I like it. I don't mind it. It seems to suit it. If you pull the hood, just kind of a ways up here, you can kind of see all the standoffs poking through. There's one there. So they're all through there. There's some more. So they all line up. It comes out real easy. Out of the car. All the standoffs across there. Now, they are way too long. I will be cutting them down. What my plan will be is I will be taking more of the same ABS that I put on the bottom, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as a spacer below the hood, and then I got some 1/4 20 flange serrated nuts, so that will hold it all down onto the hood. Now, one of the questions that will probably be asked is, did I really save any money doing this? And the answer is yes. So I got the louvers for a really good price because I found a hood with them, but the hood was in bad shape and not the color of my car. So if I was to put the hood on, then I'd have to repaint it, where the hood that I had was already the right color, just didn't have the louvers. So I bought that hood, I think it was for $200 or $250. I don't remember specifically. And then took the louvers, turned around, sold the hood for $150 or $200. So the louvers only cost me, I think, like $50 when all was said and done. And then from there, it was basically, so just say $50 for the louvers and then all the supplies to do this. So I would say supply-wise, I'm probably in around about $100 Canadian on that. Methyl, the MEK, 2 sets of different bolts from Amazon, the nuts, the ABS, and a few other little things in there. Probably around about $100, maybe a little over $100. So between the cost of the louvers and the supplies, I'm probably around $150. And a new set of louvers for this thing through from a Canadian provider, I think around $250 to $300 new. Those are not OEM, and that's without shipping. So all in, I'd probably be close to $400 if I was to buy a new set of these for this car. So I'm very far ahead and okay with that. The other one that I have to do is going to take a little bit more work, because I got to grind down the studs, but this side was kind of a, will it work? It does. So I know that I can move forward and do the other side and get these on. One of the things that I will do, like I said, is the ABS, because you can see like this isn't, sits below. So this is the hole here where it comes through, but it sits below. So 1/4 20 nut may work just fine with that and have no problems, but again, I'll see about creating a base on that. On the front side, I'm going to paint where the louver sits in. I'm going to paint that black just to kind of give it a single tone for that area, or I might just leave it the way it is. I haven't quite decided on that or not. So when this is said and done, that'll be phase 1 of the hood work. The hood itself is actually in really good shape. It's mostly just got surface rust and a few little things on it, so I'm not too overly concerned about it. The only place that I'm kind of concerned is right here, you know, but even this area isn't too bad. It'd be very easy to just rough this up with a wire wheel, fix this. This is the corner where batteries sit. So it's pretty common in older GM vehicles to have the side where the battery is to be rusted out, because in those days batteries weren't sealed, and the fumes and stuff would come out and eat the hoods. So that'll be phase one for the hood, getting the louvers done, getting them on, getting that all cleaned up. Phase two for this will be redoing the hinges. So that'll be the next part. So that will get the hood finished for the car, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So hopefully this gives you guys some ideas of, you know, if you got these kicking around and you guys want to make them look good or fix them, or are concerned, and you know how it'll be difficult. Just, you know, it really isn't. Just glue some ABS and some 1/4 bolts and away you go. So good luck, and maybe you'll have a project on your hands, maybe not, but either way, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.